Have you ever noticed that the moment the day finally goes quiet, you get into bed, and that's exactly when your mind starts racing faster than ever? Your body is exhausted, but your thoughts refuse to settle. They replay mistakes, unfinished tasks, decisions you avoided, truths you pushed aside during the day, and like that, real rest becomes impossible. Tonight, you're not here to demand more from yourself or to solve everything at once. You're here to listen to Stoic truths to reflect on while you sleep. Simple truths, direct ones, the kind that are not shouted but whispered when everything else is silent. Because there are things you only understand when you lower your guard and stop fighting. The Stoics did not run from reality, but they also didn't punish themselves without end. They knew that facing the truth is not about self-torture, but about release. And night is the perfect moment for that. A moment to let go of the invisible chains you carry throughout the day. The need to control everything, the fear of what others think, the pressure to always be more, better, faster. As you listen to these reflections, you don't need to do anything. You don't have to change your life right now. Just allow each truth to settle slowly, the way your body relaxes without you even noticing. Some ideas may feel slightly uncomfortable. Others may bring relief. Both are necessary if you want to sleep in peace. Stay. Let these Stoic truths accompany you as your mind grows quiet and sleep arrives without force. Not to transform you overnight, but to help you rest with the calm of someone who has finally stopped running from themselves. If these words are keeping you company tonight, subscribe and stay with us. This space exists for you to return to when the day fades and all you need is calm. And tell me something. What time is it where you are right now, and what country are you listening from? Write it in the comments and let the night take care of the rest. First lesson: to sleep in peace, accept that no one is coming to save you. My friend, let's be clear, but from the calm of the night this time. No one is coming to save you. I know, said like that, it sounds harsh, almost uncomfortable. But some truths do not arrive to wound you. They arrive to let you rest. During the day, you can distract yourself, make noise, keep running. But when you turn off the lights and you're alone with your mind, that truth comes back. And if you refuse to face it, it will not let you sleep. Picture the same scene as before, but look at it differently now. You're in your kitchen. Smoke starts pouring out of the oven. The smell of something burning fills the house. Flames begin to rise. Would you stay seated, calmly eating your cereal, waiting for someone to walk in and fix everything for you? It sounds absurd. And yet that's exactly what you do with the problems you carry to bed every night. Conflicts you didn't confront. Decisions you postponed. Conversations you avoided. You lie down hoping that tomorrow, somehow, things will change on their own. But the mind is not naive. That's why it doesn't switch off. Nighttime restlessness doesn't always come from fear of tomorrow. Very often it comes from having delegated your life throughout the day, from waiting for a call, a sign, an outside solution that never arrived. And as long as you keep waiting for someone to rescue you, your body may lie down, but your mind will stay on guard. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca said it plainly. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. And at night, when everything grows quiet, that lack of courage weighs twice as much. Epictetus, even as a slave, grasped something that brings profound calm. No one was coming to grant him freedom from the outside. And once he accepted that, he stopped fighting what was not up to him. That was the beginning of his true serenity. Marcus Aurelius, with all the power of Rome at his command, did not deceive himself either. He knew that neither the empire nor the gods would do his inner work for him. That is why he wrote to himself at the end of the day, not to punish himself, but to put his soul in order before rest. Because taking responsibility is not another burden. It is what allows you to release the rest. Here is the key to sleeping peacefully. When you accept that no one is coming to save you, you stop waiting. And when you stop waiting, the mind rests. There is no more tension about what others should do. No more silent resentment on the pillow. What remains is only what depends on you. And that, paradoxically, is calming. Tonight, you don't have to change your entire life. Something small and honest is enough. Acknowledge one thing that unsettles you because you've been placing it in someone else's hands. Look at it without drama. Tell yourself quietly, this is mine to handle. Not to solve it right now, but to stop running from it. That acceptance loosens more knots than any distraction ever could. Before you fall asleep, remember something else. There were things today that you did for yourself, even if you didn't value them. Small decisions, quiet acts, invisible to others. Recognizing them is not pride, it is fairness toward yourself. And that inner fairness is what allows you to close your eyes without war inside you. Because this is one of the most uncomfortable and most liberating Stoic truths for the night. No one is coming to save you. And when you stop waiting for a rescuer, the mind softens, the body relaxes, and sleep arrives without resistance. Not as an escape, but as a well-earned rest. Lesson 2. You're not as important as you think. Oof, my friend. Here comes another cold splash of reality. You're not as important as you think. And before you take this as a personal jab, let me explain. We all fall into the trap of believing that the world is paying close attention to our every move. We imagine people scrutinizing every mistake, every awkward word, every stumble we make, and storing it in their memory forever. But guess what? That only happens in our heads. The truth is much simpler. Most people are far too busy thinking about themselves to focus on you. Tell me, has this ever happened to you? You made a mistake in front of others, and you spent hours, maybe even days, obsessing over it. Maybe you misspoke during a meeting, or you tripped on the sidewalk. How embarrassing, you thought to yourself. I always look like a fool. They must be laughing at me for days. Well, here's some good news. How long do you think people actually remembered that moment? Exactly. They probably didn't even notice, or they saw it and went right back to worrying about their own problems. Picture this. You're at the grocery store, and you accidentally stand in the wrong checkout line. Someone corrects you in a rude tone, and you spend the rest of the day thinking they saw you as a complete mess. But guess what? They probably don't even remember your face. They were caught up in their own worries, which is why they snapped at you in the first place. Or think about the time you made a mistake at work, like sending an email to the wrong person. You imagined all your coworkers gossiping about it behind your back. But in reality, nobody cared. They were too busy with their own tasks to even notice. See where I'm going with this? What feels like the center of the universe to you is nothing more than a tiny blip that vanishes in seconds for everyone else. And this isn't just a feel-good idea. A study by Cornell University, known as the spotlight effect, proved that people tend to overestimate how much others notice them. We feel like we're constantly under a spotlight, but in reality, most people are consumed by their own lives. The Stoics knew this well. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what's within our control, and let me tell you, how others perceive you is far beyond your control. Do you know what this means? It means you can stop carrying the unnecessary weight of trying to be perfect for everyone. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Own this truth and set yourself free, because real freedom begins when you stop worrying about what others think of you. Next time you catch yourself wondering what someone might be thinking about you, pause and ask yourself, what's the most likely thing they're actually thinking about right now? More often than not, the answer will be something related to their own problems, not you. And if you still need a little more reassurance, remember this mantra. What others think of me doesn't define who I am. When you accept that you're not the center of the universe, you free yourself from the constant pressure of living up to non-existent expectations. You give yourself permission to make mistakes, to be your authentic self, and to focus on what truly matters, your values, your goals, and the relationships that are worth your time. Because in the end, what defines you isn't how much others notice you, but how much meaning you give to your own life. Lesson 3. Stop thinking about what you lack. Tell me the truth, how many times do you wake up and the first thing that pops into your head is a list of everything you don't have. Not enough money, still no partner, the project still isn't working out. And just like that, you start your day with a sense of emptiness. It's like turning on the engine while your tank's already on empty. The energy you bring into the world is already tainted by the feeling that nothing is enough. But here's the strange part. It's not the fact that weighs the most. It's how you interpret it. You lose a client and suddenly, your mind says everything's falling apart. You don't have a partner and your head tells you you're incomplete. It's the same life, but filtered through lack. Like using a broken magnifying glass and always focusing on the gaps. The whole looks huge, even if there are plenty of solid pieces all around it. Epictetus knew this trap well. He lived it firsthand. Born a slave, with no freedom, no wealth, no recognition. Did he have every reason to complain? Of course. Did he? No, he discovered a truth most people miss. There's always one thing under your control. He called it prohairesis, the faculty of choosing how you respond to what happens. They could tie him up, insult him, strip away everything external. But no one could decide for him how to interpret what was happening. That choice was his true freedom. He saw life like a banquet. If a dish is passed to you, take it calmly. If not, let it pass, without complaint. The problem is, most of us live that banquet as if we're spending the whole evening mad about what never showed up at our table. And what do we get from that? Nothing but frustration. Wisdom is enjoying what does arrive, instead of obsessing over what doesn't. Think about your own day-to-day. You probably know someone who always says they don't have time. But when you really look, they're spending hours trapped in social media, shows, or distractions. The issue isn't the lack of time, it's where they're putting it. Or think about the person who's obsessed with finding a partner. They've convinced themselves that only then will they feel whole. And in that constant search, they miss the most valuable thing, the chance to build a strong inner life, to grow, to learn, to enjoy their own company. The moment they focus on that, interestingly enough, relationships start showing up, without all the chasing. Do you know the biggest issue with living from a sense of lack? It never ends. There's always something more missing. Today you want a better car, tomorrow a bigger house, next a different life. And when you finally get it, your mind's already looking for the next but. Seneca said it plainly. The one who doesn't know how to appreciate what they have will never feel satisfied. But what happens when you shift your focus? Your experience shifts with it. It's like going from being the fly that only sees trash in every corner to being the bee that finds flowers along the same path. The world doesn't change, but your perspective transforms everything. The good news is, this way of seeing life can be trained. You can stop chasing and start letting things come to you. Want to know how? Do a real wealth inventory. Write down 3 things you have today that you used to take for granted. It could be your health, someone who listens to you, a meal on your table, even your ability to think and act. Seeing it written down changes your perspective. It reminds you you're not empty. You were just looking in the wrong direction. Let's also take a tip straight from Epictetus. He said, not every thought that crosses your mind deserves your approval. Some come loaded with fear, others with scarcity, others with pride. If you accept every thought as truth, you end up being ruled by them. And tell me if this isn't familiar. You think I don't have enough money and suddenly that's all you see all day. Or you think nobody cares about me, and now everything feels filtered through that idea. What the Stoic would do is observe those thoughts and ask, does this idea deserve my energy? Does it help me act better? If the answer is no, they let it go. And yes, right now it may feel normal for your mind to race toward what's missing. It's a habit, but it's a habit you can dismantle. It's not about denying your goals or pretending everything's perfect. It's about not living as if you're incomplete. Because what you deserve doesn't come when you live from lack. It comes when you stop feeding that emptiness and act calmly from what's already present in your life. When you replace "I'm missing" with "this is enough to move forward," You stop being an emotional beggar and become someone who builds their own path. My friend, what you focus on grows. If you focus on emptiness, emptiness grows. If you focus on what you do have, abundance grows. And that's where you start to see that you don't have to wait for life to change in order to feel fulfilled. You just have to use what's already in your hands right here, right now. Lesson 4. If you neglect your body, you lose the battle. It's Monday morning. Your alarm goes off, and without thinking, you hit snooze. Just 5 more minutes, you tell yourself, but those 5 minutes turn into 20. When you finally get up, your body feels heavy, your mind is foggy, and you have no energy. You drag yourself to the kitchen and make a double coffee, hoping it'll wake you up. But nothing. You get to work, and before you've even started, you're already exhausted. As the day goes on, by mid-afternoon, you're done. You can't focus, everything feels like a chore, and exercising? Not today, maybe tomorrow. Maybe it's not exactly like this for you, but how many times have you felt drained, sluggish, and unmotivated? And the worst part? You think it's normal? Spoiler, it's not. Do you know what's wrong? You're neglecting your body. Your body is the foundation of everything. If you don't take care of it, it doesn't matter how many goals you have or how badly you want to change your life. You won't get there. Because when your body doesn't cooperate, everything else falls apart. But don't worry, my friend. You're not alone in this. And as always, the Stoics had something to teach us. No surprise there, right? They understood this centuries ago, long before we did. For them, health wasn't a luxury or something secondary. It was a fundamental pillar of excellence. They knew that the body and mind are one. Like the wheels of a bicycle, if one breaks, you don't move forward. You can't aim for mental strength if you're physically falling apart. You can't expect your mind to function if you're not giving your body the right fuel. Look at the example of Loida Zabala. At 11 years old, she lost mobility in her legs. Her life changed overnight. She could have given in to self-pity, convinced herself that there was nothing left to do, that her life was defined by tragedy. But she didn't. She chose to fight. She chose to get stronger. She chose to push her limits and prove that, even when the body is limited, it can still be trained, cared for, and developed. Today, she's a weightlifting champion, representing her country in international competitions. She is living proof that your body doesn't have to be an obstacle. It can be a tool to become your best self. And now tell me, what's your excuse? You don't need to train like a professional athlete, but you do need to do the basics. Think of your body as a car. You can have the clearest destination in the world, but if the engine is broken, you're not getting anywhere. If you're constantly tired, if you have no strength, if your mind shuts down halfway through the day, then your engine is failing. And if the engine is failing, it's because you haven't taken care of it the way you should. Now imagine I give you 2 choices. The first path, you keep living like this. You wake up tired, rely on coffee to function, go through your day drained, with no energy, no motivation. Fatigue piles up, your mind slows down, you lose interest in things you used to enjoy simply because you don't have the energy for them anymore. Days turn into weeks, weeks into years. But the second path? Here, you make a decision. Not a drastic change, not extreme sacrifice. Just one small action to start winning this battle. Which one do you choose? I already know you'll pick the second. So, how do you do it? Starting tomorrow, move. It doesn't matter how, when, or where. Just move. Do whatever works for you. Do you like walking, dancing, swimming? Then do it. And I know what's coming. The usual excuses. I have too much work. I have to take the kids to school. I don't have time. Relax. I'm not asking for much. Just go for a 10-minute walk. Seriously, you can't find 10 minutes? It's not hard. And do it again the next day, and the next, and the next. Before you know it, your body will start asking for it. You'll notice you have more energy, you sleep better, and your mind becomes sharper. Second step, improve just one thing in your diet. Don't jump into extreme diets. Don't cut everything out at once. Don't overcomplicate it. Just pick one habit and improve it. Do you drink too little water? Have one more glass a day? Do you eat too many processed foods? Cut back on just one thing. You don't need to change everything overnight, but you do need to start, because if you don't start, nothing happens. Remember what Seneca said, "If we do not take care of our bodies, our minds will also weaken." This isn't about being perfect. It's about doing the work. Consistency is the key. A little movement each day turns into energy. A small change in your diet turns into clarity. One single step in the right direction makes everything else easier. Lesson 5. Pain is necessary. This might sound controversial, but hear me out. Pain is necessary. It's not something we like to accept. Most of us do everything we can to avoid it. We distract ourselves, bury it, pretend it's not there. But here's the truth. Without pain, there's no growth. Pain, though uncomfortable, has a purpose. It's the teacher that brings us life's deepest lessons. Psychologist Carl Jung put it this way: emotional pain doesn't go away until you've learned what it's meant to teach you. It's a powerful statement because it forces us to see pain not as an enemy, but as a messenger. If we ignore it, if we deny it, it only comes back stronger, again and again, until we finally face what we need to learn. Let me ask you something. Have you ever faced a loss, a failure, or a disappointment that felt impossible to overcome? Think back to that moment and how it made you feel. Did you use the pain to reflect, to change, to grow? Or did you try to bury it, dive into distractions, or deny it, pretending it didn't exist? Most of us choose the latter, because let's be honest, facing pain is no easy task. But here's the key. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. All it does is postpone it, allowing it to grow and hit even harder when it returns. Pain is like a seed buried in the ground. At first, it's nothing but darkness, pressure, and cold. But over time, if we let it do its work, that seed transforms into something else. Strong roots, a sturdy trunk, even flowers. Without that initial discomfort, without that pressure, growth wouldn't happen. The Stoics understood better than anyone the value of pain as a tool for transformation. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, lived a life full of challenges, wars, political betrayals, and the loss of several children. Despite this, he left us a powerful lesson. The fire burning within me turns every obstacle into fuel. Everything that affects me strengthens me. What a remarkable teaching. For Marcus Aurelius, pain wasn't something to avoid. It was something to use. It sharpened his mind, his character, and his spirit. His life wasn't easy, but through his struggles, he developed an inner strength that made him one of history's most admired leaders. And you? What are you doing with your pain? Are you using it as fuel to grow, or are you setting it aside, hoping it will disappear on its own? The Stoics remind us that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. Epictetus said, "What troubles a man is not the event itself, but his judgment of it." It's our perception of pain that determines whether we see it as a barrier or as an opportunity. Pain is the soul's alarm clock. It forces us to look at our lives with honesty and face the truth we fear the most. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's also the bridge to a stronger, more authentic life. So, the next time life places you in a painful situation, don't run from it. Accept it. Face it head on. Ask it what it's here to teach you and allow it to transform you. Because in the end, those hard truths that pain brings us are the ones that free us, the ones that change us. Are you ready to face them? Sixth lesson. Calm is trained in the everyday. You've probably been through this. You're having a chaotic day and think, "I need calm now." You sit down to meditate, close your eyes, put on some relaxing music and think, "This is it. Now I'll feel at peace." And right then your neighbor starts drilling, someone rings the doorbell, and your mind turns into a boxing ring. So you say, "Okay, I'll just concentrate harder." But the harder you try, the more restless you become. Because calm doesn't come from clenching your jaw or repeating mantras in desperation. The more you chase it like crazy, the more it hides. And this isn't new. Marcus Aurelius, in the middle of war and betrayal, could have said, "When everything settles down, then I'll be at peace." But if he waited for Rome to give him a moment of stillness, he was lost. What he did instead was different. He trained calm in what was in front of him, in the everyday. He'd remind himself, "What's in front of you is enough." That wasn't just theory. It was his way of remembering that stopping the search outside was the only way to stay grounded inside. Think of it this way. Calm is like a helium balloon. If you run after it, the wind pushes it farther away. But if you breathe, wait, and position yourself well, sooner or later it floats down to your reach. Epictetus explained it through his idea that it's not events that disturb us, but how we interpret them. If you keep saying, "Once I get this, once everything fits, then I'll be calm," that interpretation becomes a maze with no exit. But if you accept what's here and choose to act on what depends on you, calm already starts to show up. Now picture this. You end a relationship, and the first thing you do is search desperately for peace in the other person. You check your phone constantly, send messages, chase down answers. And what happens? The more you search, the more broken you feel. Seneca saw it clearly. It's not that things are hard that stop us, it's that we don't dare, and that is what makes them hard. In this case, the hard part isn't the breakup. It's daring to stop looking in the wrong place and start taking care of yourself. Or think about work. You lose your job and your mind starts the chase. Refreshing job sites 20 times a day, doing endless math on your finances, checking the same contacts again and again. And all you get is more anxiety. What do you think Marcus Aurelius would have done in your shoes? He'd have taken a different route, focused on the immediate, on what he could do. Calm wouldn't come from chasing impossible guarantees, but from one concrete action: sending a resume, cutting a cost, making a call. That kind of daily training is what holds you together in the chaos. And psychology backs this up. Daniel Wegner, in his famous white bear experiment, proved it. If I tell you not to think of a white bear, you won't be able to stop. Same thing with calm. If you repeat, "I have to be calm right now," your mind spins out and drives it further away. The Stoics had their version of this. Epictetus didn't wait for his masters to stop mistreating him to be at peace. He built his calm every time he chose not to respond with hate, every time he put his energy into what he could control. So, my friend, here are some tools to help you stop chasing calm like a madman and start training it in the everyday. Next time you feel anxious, ask yourself, what am I trying to force right now? If the answer is, I want calm to come right now, you're chasing smoke. The key is to switch the search for a simple action. Breathe, take a walk, write down what you're feeling. But I get it. Sometimes you won't be able to control it. That's why I recommend the 2-anchor technique. Anytime your mind is racing, choose 2 small actions that bring you back to the present. Wash a dish and write a sentence on paper. Water a plant and take 10 deep breaths. It's not magic, it's practice. Just like you don't lift 100 kilos on your first day at the gym, your calm gets stronger through small reps. And lastly, each night, write down a moment when you chased calm anxiously and note what you could have done differently. At first it feels silly, but with time you'll see patterns. You'll realize that most of the time you were demanding impossible guarantees when peace was already available in accepting what was and doing the simplest thing. Because calm doesn't mean nothing bad ever happens. Epictetus was beaten, and of course he suffered. But he never let that pain define who he was. That kind of training made him stronger than many free men. And the same can happen to you if you stop searching desperately for calm, as if it were a prize. So remember this: calm doesn't show up because you chase it. It shows up because you practice it in small things. And when you stop hunting for it with anxiety, it begins to come. Gently, naturally. Because what's truly yours comes not when you run after it, but when you learn to stay grounded in the everyday with steady hands and a quiet heart. Lesson 7. If you don't believe in yourself, no one will. Let me tell you Jim's story. He had a dream so big that people laughed when he talked about it. He was a nobody. A kid sleeping in a van who had dropped out of school to help his family, performing small comedy shows in run-down bars, hoping someone would give him a chance. But no one believed in him. Well, almost no one. Because he did. He believed in his own potential. So much so that he did something most people would call crazy. He wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered and dated it 5 years into the future. He kept it in his wallet and looked at it every single day. Every day he reminded himself that he was worth it, that he would make it. 5 years later, he was offered a role in Dumb and Dumber for $10 million. Yes, exactly, you guessed it. That kid was Jim Carrey. Now tell me, can you imagine what would have happened if he hadn't believed in his own talent? How many times have you stopped yourself before even trying? How many times have you said, "I'm not good enough," before even taking the first step? If you don't bet on yourself, no one else will. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. You have power over your mind, not external events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about it for a moment. What would have happened if Marcus Aurelius hadn't believed in himself? An emperor doubting every decision? I don't know if I should lead Rome today. Maybe tomorrow. Or worse, let me ask the barbarians if they'd rather invade now or later. Spoiler: he wouldn't have won a single battle. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor because he had an unshakable mindset. He knew that everything started in the mind. And now tell me, how many times have you let others define what you can or cannot do? Imagine you decide to move to another country to learn a new language and find a job. You're excited, motivated, ready for the adventure. But then the voices start. That's too hard. You'll end up coming back. You won't make it there. And little by little, you start to doubt yourself. You begin to believe in their fears more than in your own abilities. What if you fail? What if you don't make it? What if... Stop. No more what ifs. If you don't believe in yourself, no one will. So do you want to start believing that you can become your best self? First, make a list. Write down 3 things you're genuinely good at. These can be skills, personality traits, or strengths that have helped you in the past. Then, write down 3 things you can improve. But be careful. This isn't to discourage you. It's to help you see that everything can be worked on. What is a weakness today can become your greatest strength tomorrow. Second, make positive affirmations a habit. Every day, say something out loud that reinforces your confidence. Not empty phrases, but truths that actually convince you. Instead of saying, "I am successful," say, "I am learning every day and getting closer to my goal." Instead of, "I am the best," say, "I am capable of improving with every effort." The key is to believe it, because when you believe it, you make it real. If you don't bet on yourself, who will? Believing in yourself isn't arrogance, it's the foundation of everything. If you want to build your best version, you first have to trust that you can. Lesson 8. Happiness is a choice. Let me share a secret with you, one that can completely change the way you see your life. Here it is. Happiness isn't something random. It's not luck. It's a choice. What do you think about that idea? Does it sound strange? Too good to be true? This isn't just another feel-good phrase you'd find on the cover of a school planner. It goes much deeper than that. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." And he was absolutely right. This isn't about denying problems or living in a bubble of fake optimism. It's about training your mind to focus, to find the good even in the middle of challenges, and to consciously choose where you place your attention. Let me put it another way. Imagine happiness as a compass. Each day, you have the power to decide where it points. If you leave it to chance, it will spin aimlessly, drifting in every direction. But if you take control, you can direct it toward what truly matters, even when the path ahead isn't easy. That compass, my friend, is in your hands. But to use it, you need to be honest with yourself about your life and where you want to go. The problem is, accepting this truth is scary. It's much easier to believe that our happiness depends on circumstances, other people, or external events. Why? Because it takes the weight of responsibility off our shoulders. If we're not responsible, then we're not to blame if things don't go well, right? But here's the hard reality. As long as you let others control your compass, you'll never own your happiness. You'll live at the mercy of what happens around you, powerless to take control. Taking responsibility for your happiness isn't easy, but it's the only path to true freedom. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's a superpower. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like you were waiting for someone or something to make you happy? Maybe you thought a promotion, a relationship, or a magical vacation would fix everything. But when it finally arrived, did it really change anything? Maybe it brought a moment of joy, but then what? Everything goes back to the same place. Do you know why? Because deep down, it was never about those things. It was always about how you choose to live each day. For the Stoics, happiness didn't depend on what happened around them. It came from how they chose to respond. Epictetus put it clearly. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some are not. And what's always within our control is how we choose to think and act. So how can you choose happiness in your daily life? Here's what I do. I take responsibility. I don't look for excuses or blame others, and I always ask myself, what can I do to change this? I also set priorities. When I feel my internal compass losing direction, I ask myself, does this really matter for my happiness? Or is it just noise distracting me? The answer isn't always easy, but believe me, it's worth asking the question. It helps you make decisions based on what you truly value, not what seems easiest in the moment. My friend, it's time to accept it. Happiness isn't a reward life gives you when everything falls into place. It's a daily choice. When you embrace this truth and decide to take control of your compass, something shifts. You stop waiting for others to make you happy and start building a life that truly makes sense for you. So, are you ready to make that choice? Because in the end, happiness isn't something you find. It's something you choose. 9th lesson. Comparing yourself always makes you lose. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You open your phone for 5 minutes and suddenly it seems like everyone has their life figured out. That friend who's always traveling, the coworker bragging about their promotion, that person showing off the perfect relationship. And just like that, you're caught in a race you never asked to run, and you start measuring yourself against them. The result? You always lose. Because comparison is a game designed to make you fail. Marcus Aurelius said it clearly in his Meditations. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. And tell me, what kind of quality can a thought have if all it does is tell you someone else is doing better than you? Comparison doesn't improve your life, it poisons it. Because instead of looking at what you're building, you're stuck on what you think you're missing when you stare into someone else's shop window. It's like running a marathon while constantly looking at the person beside you. You could be well-trained, in good shape, running your own pace. But if you keep turning your head, all you're going to do is trip in your own lane. That's what happens when you compare your life to someone else's. You lose focus on your own path, and along with it, your peace. Now imagine Epictetus, a man who started life as a slave in Rome, surrounded by senators and the rich, living in mansions with luxury chariots. If he'd spent his life measuring his worth against them, it would have destroyed him. And let's be honest, competing in luxuries wasn't even an option. While they debated which marble statue looked best in their garden, he was trying to survive the day. So, he made a different choice. He focused on the one thing no one could take from him, his character and inner freedom. That decision changed everything. So much so that in time he ended up teaching philosophy to the very people who once would have looked down on him. And that's the irony. The slave ended up guiding those who believed themselves superior. His greatness was born from refusing to let comparison steal his calm. And look, this comparison trap isn't just some Stoic concern from 2,000 years ago. Modern psychology has studied it deeply. Leon Festinger, for example, proposed the social comparison theory. What does it say? That every time you look upward, at someone who seems ahead of you, you're likely to feel frustrated, like when you find out your coworker earns more than you and suddenly you feel behind. And when you look downward at someone you think is doing worse, you get a false sense of superiority that doesn't bring peace either. Because sooner or later, someone ahead will appear again, and the cycle starts over. So next time you feel that sting of envy or inferiority, write it down. Who did you compare yourself to? What did that comparison cost you? Time, energy, peace. Then ask, what could I have done with that same energy? Maybe instead of scrolling through your friend's travel feed, you could have taken one step forward on your own project. That shift in focus turns comparison into action. Another simple tool? Have a phrase ready to cut the thought the moment it hits. When you notice your mind starting to measure you against someone else, repeat, their path is theirs. Mine is this. It sounds simple, but it works. Because it brings you back to the present. It reminds you that your value isn't measured by someone else's ruler, but by what you do today with what you have. My friend, this isn't about pretending comparison doesn't exist. We all fall into it. The difference is not letting it drive the car, because every time you do, you lose control of your own direction. And here comes the paradox that's so hard to accept. What's truly yours doesn't arrive because you run faster than others. It arrives when you stop obsessing over their race and return to yours, with calm. Comparing yourself is like fighting a ghost. You'll never win, because that ghost isn't even real. The only thing that is real is your life, here and now. And when you choose to focus on it, the noise around you fades. What belongs to you starts showing up, not because you chased it anxiously, but because you finally ran free, without looking to the side. And now I'll ask you, who do you compare yourself to most often? And what do you think that comparison has stolen from you? Share it in the comments. I'd love to read your story. And if you want to keep it simple, just write, today I run in my own lane. That way we'll remind each other that what's ours arrives when we stop looking sideways and act with calm on our own path. Lesson 10. Master your time, or it will master you. Imagine you're in a race, but instead of running, you're walking at a relaxed pace without a sense of urgency. You think the finish line is far away, that you have all the time in the world. You look around, get distracted by anything and everything. Halfway through, you're still convinced that time is on your side. But suddenly you check the clock and realize the finish line is just a few steps away, and you have almost no time left to reach it. This is how we procrastinate. We think we have time to spare, that we can leave things for later, that there will always be more time. But by the time we finally notice, the clock is against us, and we're forced to sprint, trying to do in one day what we could have done in a week. My friend, if you don't master your time, it will master you. And believe me, this isn't just a feeling. Science explains it. There's a psychological principle called Parkinson's law, which states that a task will expand to fill the time you give it. If you have a week to do something, it will take a week. If you have a month, it will take a month. But if you only have a day, you'll finish it in a day. I'm sure this has happened to you. You have to write a report. It's Monday and they tell you it's due Friday. You think, I have all week, no rush. Monday goes by and you don't touch it. Tuesday, same thing. Wednesday, you glance at it. Thursday, panic kicks in. And by Friday, you're rushing like crazy to finish it. The result? Stress, pressure, and work that could have been much better if you had planned it properly. Seneca made this clear centuries ago. While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away. I know this from experience. I fell into this trap too. My time controlled me. I was stuck in routine, work, responsibilities. I didn't even have time to brush my teeth in peace. Until I realized something. The problem wasn't how many things I had to do. The problem was that I didn't know how to prioritize. So I had to learn to manage my time intelligently. Do you know what the first thing I did was? I cut my to-do list down to just 3 tasks per day. No more writing down 20 things and only getting one done. Just 3, but the 3 most important ones. If it worked for me, I'm sure it will work for you too. So don't overwhelm yourself with a million tasks. Just pick 3 and they must be specific. If you have a business, instead of writing "work on my company," write "call 3 key clients," finalize this week's budget, or plan the social media strategy. If you're studying, don't just write review material. Be precise. Create an outline of the first 3 topics, or solve 5 math problems. If you want to improve your health, exercise is too vague. Instead, write "go to the gym and complete my weightlifting routine," or "prepare 3 healthy meals for tomorrow." With just this one change, you'll notice a massive difference. Instead of feeling trapped in a never-ending cycle, ending the day exhausted but unfulfilled, you'll actually see real progress. You'll finish your 3 most important tasks and finally feel like you're moving forward in the things that truly matter. And the best part? Once you complete those 3, if you have extra time, you can do more. But the key is that you will have already guaranteed your growth, your improvement, your best version. Because now, instead of wasting time, you'll be investing it in yourself. So tell me, my friend, are you still letting time dictate your life? Or are you finally taking control? Let us know in the comments. What 3 tasks will you prioritize tomorrow to start building your best self? Lesson 11. Escape the comfort zone. Do you know what the most dangerous place you can stay in is? Your comfort zone. Sounds ironic, doesn't it? After all, it's where you feel safe, where nothing puts you at risk. But here's the hard truth. As long as you stay in absolute comfort, nothing terrible may happen. But you also won't grow. It's cozy, sure, but it's like a ship anchored at the harbor. It's safe, but that's not what it was built for. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you wanted to try something new, but fear of change held you back? It's like a bird staying in its cage because it doesn't know what's outside. The cage is familiar and protective, but it also limits its chance to soar higher and explore new skies. What would become of a bird afraid to fly? A tragedy. And the same thing happens to you. As long as you stay in that safe space, not only will you stop moving forward, but you'll also start feeling trapped. A study by Yale University revealed something fascinating. People who regularly face situations outside their comfort zones experience significant increases in creativity, resilience, and personal satisfaction. In the experiment, participants were tasked with completely new and challenging activities, like learning a new language or solving complex problems under pressure. At first, many reported feeling uncomfortable and stressed. But over time, they discovered something surprising. The more they faced challenges, the more confident they became in their abilities, and the more they valued the process. The Stoics deeply understood this principle. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul grows by expanding its limits." This teaching isn't just an invitation to overcome the fear of change. It's a reminder that growth happens when we push ourselves beyond comfort. Each time you face discomfort, you strengthen your character, break the invisible chains holding you back, and unlock parts of yourself you didn't know existed. Imagine for a moment that you're in a river. At the shore, the water is calm and safe, but it's also stagnant. If you move toward the center, the water gets faster, even a little dangerous. But that's where the current propels you forward, where you feel the movement, where you discover what it really means to flow with life. Your comfort zone is that calm shore, and as long as you stay there, you'll never feel the power of the current that can take you further. So, how do you break those invisible walls? Start small. You don't need to dive straight into the river, but you do need to take a step toward it. Do something that's always scared you, something that makes you a little uncomfortable. It could be as simple as signing up for a new class, speaking in public, or starting a difficult conversation. The trick isn't to eliminate fear, but to act despite it. Comfort is killing you slowly. It's like a warm shelter that, while cozy, keeps you from exploring the world. Leaving your comfort zone isn't easy, but it's necessary. Only by facing the unknown can you discover what you're truly made of. So, tell me, are you ready to take that first step and open the door? If your answer is yes, stay with me just a little longer. because now I'll share the ultimate truth you need to accept to move forward. Lesson 12. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Let me ask you something. How many times have you caught yourself thinking about how everything is going to end before you've even begun? When I get promoted, when I find the right partner, when I achieve this, then I'll finally be okay. And in the meantime, what happens? Nothing. Just anxiety. Because you're placing your happiness in an outcome that doesn't even exist yet. It's like baking bread. If you open the oven every 2 minutes because you can't handle the weight, you ruin it. But if you knead the dough well, let it rise, and trust the process, the bread turns out fine. Life works the same way. Obsession with the result burns everything. That's the mistake, being fixated on the outcome. If it doesn't come, you feel like a failure. And if it does come, it lasts 1 minute. Because your mind is already chasing the next thing. To stop falling into this trap, the Stoics left us a crucial lesson. For them, the measure of life wasn't the result. It was how you lived today, in the process. Look at Marcus Aurelius. His meditations weren't a marketing plan to become famous 2,000 years later. They were a personal exercise, a way to train his mind in the middle of war and betrayal. The act of writing, that daily process, was what made him strong. The outcome, that we read his words now, arrived on its own. Epictetus put it another way. Don't place your desire on things going your way. Place your desire on embracing what's happening. That's something you do control. The rest is smoke. You've probably lived this with your health. You look in the mirror and say, when I weigh this much, then I'll feel good. You join the gym, buy workout clothes. But when you don't see results in 2 weeks, you quit. Because your eyes were on the finish line, not the road. What would a true Stoic do? Trust the process. Why? Because today you choose to eat better. Today you go for a 10-minute walk. Today you put your phone away and go to bed earlier. That's what's in your hands. And little by little, the results show up, without you even chasing them. James Clear in Atomic Habits puts it bluntly. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. What does that mean? No matter how big your dream is, if your habits don't change, nothing changes. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Your worth isn't in what you plan for tomorrow. It's in what you practice today. Now, I want to offer you a simple exercise. Don't worry. It's not like the math homework your teacher used to assign. This is something to help you trust the process and stop chasing the results so desperately. Before bed, write down one action from your day that depended only on you. Just one. It doesn't have to be epic. Maybe you went for a walk instead of staying on the couch, resisted a bad habit, followed through on your study or work routine. That is your real measure of success. Not the number on the scale, not the job title, not the instant applause. Your real success lies in the action you chose today. And every time you catch yourself dreaming about the goal, ask yourself a simple question. Am I obsessed with the end or committed to the path? If you realize you're hooked on the outcome, shift your focus immediately. Do something small. Prepare your clothes for tomorrow. Write one paragraph. Drink a glass of water. Tidy your desk. The tiniest act counts because the process is built from steady, simple steps. My friend, life isn't going to hand you guarantees. You'll never have absolute certainty that everything will go perfectly. But that's not the point. What matters is that every day you do what's within your power. And here lies the paradox that runs through this whole video. What's meant for you arrives, not when you chase it with anxiety, but when you choose the calm of the process. What's yours shows up quietly, not when you're frantically hunting it down, but when you act with calm intention today. Lesson 13. Your biggest rival is yourself. Imagine this. You're in a boxing ring. The roar of the crowd pounds in your ears. The lights are so intense that you can barely see clearly. You feel the heat of the spotlights on your skin, the sweat on your forehead, the weight of the gloves in your hands. The bell rings, and with your heart pounding in your chest, you step forward. You scan the ring, looking for your opponent. You know they're there somewhere, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. But then, You realize something strange. There's no one in front of you. You blink, confused. You glance to the sides. The referee doesn't seem surprised. The crowd keeps cheering, but the ring is empty. And then, you see it. There, reflected in the ropes of the ring, in the shine of the sweat-covered floor. There's your real opponent. It's not your boss. It's not the economy. It's not a lack of opportunities. It's not fate, bad luck, or society. It's that voice inside your head. The one that tells you you're not good enough. The one that says you should put it off until tomorrow. The one that convinces you it's not worth trying because you'll probably fail. And here's the big question. How many times have you sabotaged yourself without even realizing it? Think about it. How many opportunities have you let slip away because you convinced yourself you weren't ready? How many projects have you abandoned because you believed you wouldn't succeed? How many times have you postponed something you truly wanted to do because you told yourself, now isn't the right time? The problem isn't the world. The problem isn't the competition. The problem isn't time. The problem is you. Epictetus knew this well. No man is free if he is not master of himself. So now tell me, are you in control of yourself? Because real freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's doing what you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. It's getting up when every part of you wants to stay in bed. It's taking action when your mind tells you to wait. It's telling yourself the truth, even when you'd rather cling to a comfortable excuse. But let's be clear, this isn't easy. Imagine if Epictetus were alive today and met someone who wants to change their life without putting in any effort. Someone who wants to be fit, but instead of training buys miracle weight loss pills. Or worse, someone who signs up for a gym, pays the membership, and then never goes. What do you think Epictetus would say? Probably something like, "You're wasting your time and money. You want others to fix your life for you, but they aren't the problem. The problem is you. You are your own obstacle." And yes, this is hard to hear. But once you accept it, everything changes. Because if you are your worst enemy, then you can also become your greatest ally. So how do you win this fight? First, stop lying to yourself. Grab a pen and paper and write down 3 excuses you tell yourself every day. I don't have time. I'm not good enough. It's too late to start. Now look at them, read them out loud, and question them. Are they real, or are they just convenient excuses? Second, pick one, just one, and destroy it. If you say you don't have time, find 30 minutes. If you say you're not good enough, do it anyway. If you think it's too late, remember that every day you don't try is another day wasted. Remember, my friend, the real fight isn't against the world, it's against yourself. So tell me, are you going to keep battling imaginary enemies, or are you finally ready to look in the mirror and win the real fight? Because if you don't take control, you'll never become your best self. Lesson 14. Perfection doesn't exist. How many times have you held back from starting something because you didn't think you'd do it perfectly? That presentation you prepared but didn't dare to show at work. That uncomfortable conversation you only rehearsed 200 times in your head. That project you've been postponing for months because you don't feel ready. It happens to all of us. We convince ourselves that perfection is the bare minimum. But here's the truth. Perfection doesn't exist, and chasing it is like trying to catch the wind. Seneca reminded us centuries ago, if you wait for perfect conditions, you will never act. And the truth is, we spend our lives waiting for that perfect moment, that magical alignment when everything goes exactly as planned. But life, as you know, is neither fair nor perfect. It doesn't work that way. The sooner you accept this, my friend, the sooner you'll allow yourself to act, even if it's not perfect. A study conducted by Harvard University revealed that perfectionism not only delays productivity, but is also linked to high levels of anxiety and depression. Do you know why? When we obsess over making everything flawless, we sabotage ourselves. We freeze. We become our own harshest critics, and what could have been an opportunity to grow becomes an excuse not to try. Let me give you a real-life example. J.K. Simmons, the Oscar-winning actor, has spoken openly about how perfectionism consumed him early in his career. For years, he turned down roles because he thought he wasn't prepared enough or wouldn't be good enough. That constant pursuit of perfection nearly led him to quit acting altogether. But everything changed when he accepted that he didn't need to be perfect. He just needed to be authentic. That decision not only allowed him to move forward, but also helped him create unforgettable performances that inspired millions. Do you see it now? Perfection is a trap. It doesn't just stop you from acting, it keeps you from becoming your best self. Now imagine you're a painter standing in front of a blank canvas. If you wait for the perfect colors, the ideal light, and the flawless brushstroke, you'll never make the first mark. But if you start, even with crooked lines and mismatched colors, the painting will begin to take shape. Life is the same. It's not about getting everything perfect from the start. It's about beginning, learning, and improving along the way. If you want to free yourself from the chains of perfectionism, here's something practical. Redefine what success means to you. Ask yourself, is it more important to do it perfectly or to simply do it? You'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish when you shift your focus from perfection to action. Also, practice self-compassion. Don't judge yourself for the mistakes you make. See them as part of the process. The next time something doesn't go as planned, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? Instead of punishing yourself, use those lessons as tools to grow. Perfection is a mirage, an unattainable ideal that steals the present from us. When you accept that perfection doesn't exist, you give yourself permission to be human, to try, to fail, and to rise again. And here's the funny thing. When you stop chasing perfection, you begin to find beauty in imperfection. So, let go of the need for everything to be flawless and embrace the opportunity to act, right here, right now. Because perfection doesn't exist, but your ability to move forward does. What are you waiting for? Start today. Lesson 15. What's yours arrives when you're at peace. Ah, peace. That treasure that always seems out of reach, but for the Stoics, it was the center of everything. They practiced it daily, like someone training a muscle. And I have a friend who discovered the same truth. Though the journey cost him dearly, he spent months trapped in a relationship that gave him no peace. His day always started the same way. He'd wake up and immediately check his phone. If there was no message, he'd get anxious. If there was a message, but it was short, he'd analyze it word by word like it was hiding a secret. He lived with his heart in his throat. He couldn't focus at work or enjoy a peaceful meal because his mind was constantly chasing. And the more he insisted, the more he tried to force the connection, the more distant the other person became. It was like living with a rope around his neck. The harder he pulled, the tighter it got. Sound familiar? That lack of inner peace is the very poison that drives away the things you want most. Epictetus would have said the problem wasn't the other person, it was the way he had chosen to hand over his calm. Because when your peace depends on what someone else does or doesn't do, you're no longer free. And Seneca warned it with brutal clarity. Nothing is enough for the one who finds enough too little. If you can't find serenity within, no external validation will ever fill you. The same thing happens in all areas of life. Take relationships, for example. The more you beg for love, the more you wear it down. The other person can feel it, and what once might have been natural becomes pressure. But when you learn to enjoy your own company, when you're okay with yourself, suddenly you attract people who value that calm. Or take work. When you spend your days begging for recognition, chasing a promotion with anxiety, you project insecurity. And even if you work hard, your energy doesn't convince. But what happens when you simply do what depends on you, with calm and consistency? Your value speaks for itself because it shows in every action. Seneca said it in a way that stings. Nothing is enough for the one who finds enough too little. And that is the root of lost peace. If you believe your calm lies in the next paycheck, the next partner, or the next achievement, you'll never find it. Because the moment you reach one goal, another gap shows up to be filled. It's like running on a treadmill that never stops. Tons of effort, no real progress. Peace isn't found in what you reach tomorrow. It's in how you choose to live today. Mark Manson, in his book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Feck, describes a similar paradox. The more desperately you try to prove your worth, the less you radiate it. And when you learn to release that need, respect and opportunity start arriving on their own. Calm attracts, anxiety repels. That's why, if you want peace, it's not about piling on more. It's about stopping the chase for things that don't really hold your peace and starting to act from a place of inner stillness. Here's something simple you can start doing tomorrow. Each morning, instead of diving straight into the noise of your phone, sit for 1 minute in silence and repeat 3 things that already give you peace. It can be as simple as, I breathe deeply and I'm here. I have a place to rest. Or, there's someone I can talk to if I need. This isn't about inflating your ego. It's a reminder that peace doesn't come from outside. It comes from what you're already holding inside. And here's a question you can ask yourself anytime you feel anxious about chasing something. Does this thing I want bring me closer to peace, or does it take it away? The answer is brutally honest. If what you're after creates more noise than calm, maybe you're chasing it for the wrong reasons. But if what you want is aligned with your inner stillness, then it's the kind of pursuit that deserves your energy. My friend, what's truly yours doesn't need chasing. When you let go of the anxiety to prove yourself, when you act with integrity, what's meant for you shows up. Maybe not at the moment you imagined, but at the moment you're ready to receive it. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for the empire to be perfect before choosing peace. He practiced it daily, even in the midst of war and betrayal. And that's what made him strong. You can do the same. You don't need the world to hand you guarantees to be at peace. You just need to choose peace, so that what's truly yours finally has space to arrive. Lesson 16. Erase the noise from your mind. Imagine walking into a crowded room. Everyone is talking at the same time. Some are arguing about politics, others are gossiping, and a few are shouting about products you don't need. The voices blend together, words overlap. You try to focus on just one conversation, but it's impossible. The noise is overwhelming. Now tell me, what would you do in that situation? Most likely you'd leave as soon as possible, because it's impossible to think in the middle of that chaos. So here's the important question. If you wouldn't tolerate being in a room like that, why do you let your mind live in that same noise every single day? Because that's exactly what we do. We fill our heads with other people's voices. Social media, ping, notification, news, flash, breaking story. Messages, beep beep, ads, comparisons, criticism. Everything comes at us without a filter. And without realizing it, we're trapped in a storm of mental noise. And of course, noise is addictive. Psychologists explain it well. The more information we consume, the harder it is for our brains to filter what actually matters. We become restless, distracted, constantly overwhelmed. It's like trying to write on a blank page that's already covered in scribbles. Seneca knew this. He said, "Part of happiness is not wanting what you don't need." You don't need to know what an influencer had for breakfast. You don't need to read about the latest internet controversy. You don't need to fill every minute of your mind with irrelevant information. What you really need is clarity. A calm mind. One that's focused on you and on improving every single day. So, how do you break this cycle? I have a challenge for you. Try a mental diet. Imagine waking up and not grabbing your phone first thing. What can you do instead? Take a minute to stretch, take a deep breath, and just be present. Then have breakfast. Not with your phone in your hand, not with the TV on. Just you, your food, and silence. You leave the house. No music, no podcasts, no news playing in the background. Just the sound of the real world. You hear the wind, footsteps, the little details that digital noise usually drowns out. During the day, every time you feel the urge to check social media for no reason, pause. Ask yourself, do I actually need to see this right now? At lunchtime, you don't scroll through the news. You eat slowly. You actually taste your food. Your mind isn't somewhere else. It's here. In the afternoon, you decide not to read negative news. Nothing happens if you miss a day of world drama. And before bed, instead of mindlessly watching random videos, you write down how you feel. Just a few lines, nothing more. Now tell me, can you imagine a day like that? Less noise, more clarity, less distraction, more focus on yourself, on building your best version. I challenge you to try it, just for one day. Because in a world full of noise, silence is your superpower. 17th lesson. Make failure your friend. What if I told you that failure isn't your enemy, but one of your greatest allies? I know it sounds strange, maybe even absurd. Who wants to fail, right? We're all chasing our goals like crazy, so why would failure be my friend? Here's a truth you need to hear. Without failure, there's no success. Don't see it as a roadblock that stops you, but as a teacher that guides you, showing you the lessons you need to grow. Let me tell you something. A few years ago, I started a project I was incredibly passionate about. I put all my energy into it. I made plans, designed strategies, and convinced myself that everything would go perfectly. But guess what happened? I failed. And not just a small failure. It was the kind that hits you hard, the kind that makes you question everything. I felt devastated, like all my effort had been for nothing. But after some time, I realized something. That failure was exactly what I needed. It showed me where I was going wrong, forced me to rethink my approach, and most importantly, it taught me resilience. How else was I supposed to learn what not to do if I hadn't tried in the first place? As Thomas Edison famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Edison, who revolutionized the world, understood that every mistake wasn't an obstacle. It was another step toward success. His story reminds us that failure doesn't define who you are. It defines how willing you are to keep trying. And that, my friend, is what makes you great. Failure is like a tough coach. It tests you, pushes you beyond your limits, and while it might knock you down, it does so to help you rise stronger. If you stay down, wallowing in regret, you miss the chance to learn. But if you get up, analyze what went wrong, and try again, every fall becomes an invaluable lesson. Now tell me, how many times have you held back from doing something because you were afraid to fail? How many opportunities have you let slip by because you thought the mistake would be too big? That fear doesn't just paralyze you, it robs you of the chance to discover everything you're capable of achieving. The Stoics taught us not to fear failure. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, failure isn't the end, it's the only path to success. If you want to make failure your friend, start by seeing it as a tool, not as a punishment. After every stumble, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What will I do differently next time? These questions help you lose the fear of failure and transform it into a force that drives you forward instead of holding you back. And remember, every time you fail, you're one step closer to discovering what truly works. Failure isn't your enemy. It's proof that you're trying, that you're moving, that you're willing to step out of your comfort zone in pursuit of something greater. So the next time you face failure, don't reject it. Welcome it, because the more you make failure your ally, the closer you'll get to the life you want to build. Lesson number 18. An open mind is a strong mind. A closed mind is like a room with no windows. Everything gets stale, everything starts to smell, and even the smallest problem feels enormous. But when you open a window, fresh air comes in, light enters, and suddenly everything looks different. Now tell me, do you know who trained this every day? The Stoics. Epictetus would say you're not a slave to what you think, but to what you choose to believe. And that's the difference. Staying trapped in your own head, or opening space for your mind to breathe and grow strong in the middle of chaos. The problem with obsessing over something is that you stop seeing reality. You get stuck in your own anxiety. It's like when you're waiting for a message that doesn't come. Instead of going on with your life, you check your phone 20 times, reread the conversation over and over, and end up creating a drama that never existed. That's a closed mind, a space where one thought goes in circles until it wears you down. An open mind does the opposite. It says, I did what was up to me. Now I move on. That's not passivity, it's intelligence. That's why Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. He knew what it was like to deal with obsessive thoughts. Imagine being in charge of an empire at war, with plagues and betrayals all around. If he had believed every fear that came to his mind, he would have drowned in confusion. What he did instead was write his reflections in a journal. Putting his thoughts on paper let him see them from the outside. That was his way of opening windows in the storm. He didn't try to control everything, he simply chose which voices deserved his attention. And be honest, doesn't it happen to you too? You're waiting for a job reply, a medical result, a message from someone important? And instead of doing what's in your hands, your mind starts spinning around what you can't control. That doesn't just steal your calm, it steals your life. The Stoics knew that living with a closed mind is wasting energy on shadows. An open mind, on the other hand, stays focused on the present, on what depends on you, and lets go of the rest. Next time a thought grabs hold of you, instead of fighting it, try this. Say softly to yourself, this is just a thought. That tiny gesture shifts everything. Epictetus trained exactly that skill, recognizing that what passes through your mind doesn't define who you are or what you should do. It's a cloud, not the whole sky. Another powerful practice is opening up to the unexpected in everyday life. The Stoics trained this by embracing discomfort, sleeping on the floor, bathing in cold water, practicing voluntary simplicity. What can you do today? Something as simple as taking a different route to work, trying a new dish, or going a day without checking social media. These are small acts, but they teach your mind not to shut down when faced with something new. And once your mind learns to open to the unexpected, it stops shutting down when it can't control something. And if you want something deeper, try what Marcus Aurelius used to do. Before going to bed, write down 3 thoughts that dominated your day. Then next to each one, ask yourself, did I really need to believe this? You'll be surprised how often those thoughts weren't facts, they were just interpretations. With that simple habit, you start taking power away from thoughts that don't serve you. My friend, this isn't about eliminating thoughts. That's impossible. It's about training your mind not to be a slave to them. A closed mind obsesses over certainty, and because it never finds it, it breaks. An open mind breathes, adapts, and finds calm even when everything is uncertain. And here's what's interesting. When you stop chasing impossible security and open up to whatever may come, life starts to flow on its own. What's meant for you finds its way, because you're no longer blocking it with anxiety. So here's a challenge for you. Think of the thought that's been spinning in your head the most lately. Write it in the comments and look at it from the outside. And if you'd rather keep it simple, just write, today I open my mind and choose calm. That'll be your way of training the same thing the Stoics practiced. Not letting your mind close in on itself, but opening it and making it strong. Now tell me something. Are you really ready to stop chasing like crazy and start living with calm? Because everything we've covered so far is powerful, yes. But one piece is still missing. The piece that makes everything click, that turns theory into practice, and separates those who keep chasing from those who finally receive. Lesson 19. Speak less, make more impact. It is said that Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai, rarely spoke. Not because he was shy, not because he had nothing to say, but because he knew that words mean little if actions don't back them up. Legend has it that before every duel, his opponent would boast about their skills, make bold promises of victory, and try to intimidate him with grand speeches. Musashi, on the other hand, simply observed in silence. And when the moment of truth arrived, he let his sword do the talking. In the end, the one who spoke the most was always the first to fall. Epictetus put it simply, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Think about it. What's the point of saying you're disciplined if you don't keep your commitments? What's the point of promising to change if you keep repeating the same habits? What's the point of talking about your plans if you never take action? Here's the uncomfortable truth. When you talk too much, you lose focus. You waste energy explaining what you will do, convincing others, seeking validation. And in the end, all you accomplish is distracting yourself from what really matters, taking action. Now imagine this. You have a brilliant business idea. In your mind, it's crystal clear: the name, the logo, the website, the marketing strategy. You can already visualize success. And every person you meet, you tell them with excitement, "I'm launching my own business. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to revolutionize the market." Day after day, you keep talking about it. You make lists, watch videos, read about entrepreneurship. You feel like you're making progress because you're thinking about it all the time. But the reality, you haven't done a thing. You haven't built a product. You haven't made a single call. You haven't taken the first step. And the worst part? The more you talk about it, the more you feel like you're already on your way, like just saying it out loud is enough to make it real. But it's not. Weeks later, you see someone else launch a similar idea and you think, that could have been me. So do you really want to build something real? Or do you just like the idea of talking about it? Look, becoming your best self isn't about announcing what you're going to do. It's about doing it. Let your results speak for you. Don't tell people you're changing, let them notice. Don't announce that you're going to wake up early. Just do it. Don't explain that you've become more disciplined. Let your actions prove it. This isn't about hiding your progress. It's about focusing on execution instead of wasting energy on words. And beyond that, use fewer words and more presence. Listen more. Speak only when you have something meaningful to contribute. Instead of trying to impress with speeches, impress with your attitude. Because in the end, words come and go. But actions, they leave a lasting impact. Now tell me, do your words add value, or do they just fill the air? Because your best self isn't built with promises, it's built with actions. Lesson 20. Not everyone will accept you. The first truth you need to accept, my friend, is this. Not everyone is going to accept you. And you know what? That's okay. It doesn't have to be any other way. At first, this might be hard to swallow because, let's face it, no one likes the idea of not being liked by everyone. We all fear rejection. It's normal, it's human. We go out of our way to be kind, to fit in, to meet others' expectations. But here's the hard reality. No matter how much you try, there will always be someone who doesn't like you. And the best thing you can do is stop worrying about it. Now, be honest with me. How many times have you changed what you truly think or feel just to avoid conflict or to please someone else? How many times have you hidden a part of yourself because you were afraid of not fitting in? Think about that time you pretended to agree with something, but inside you were screaming, "No, I don't agree!" Or that forced smile at a meeting where everyone nodded along, and you had no choice but to go with the flow. We've all been there, shaping ourselves to be accepted. But let me ask you, is it worth losing yourself just to please others? The Stoics had a powerful lesson about this. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that we cannot control others' opinions, but we can control how we respond to them. Living in constant worry about what others think is like being a ship adrift, carried away by the winds of other people's expectations. But when you focus on staying true to yourself, you become the captain of your life, steady in your course, even if others don't like it. I know it's hard. It feels lonely out there when you step away from the crowd. That's why you should start with something simple. Reflect on what you truly value in your life. What matters so deeply to you that you'd never betray it, no matter what. Let that be your compass, because when you're guided by your own values, you no longer need anyone else's approval. Practice saying this to yourself whenever you need it. I can't please everyone, and that's okay. At first, it might feel like an empty phrase, but over time, you'll see how it sinks in and gradually sets you free. When you stop trying to be accepted by everyone, you free yourself. You begin to attract people who value you for who you truly are, not for some fabricated version of yourself designed to fit in. Your relationships become more authentic, more real, And most importantly, you start living with integrity, aligned with your own values, the only ones that truly matter. And you know the best part? The right people will stand by your side without you needing to become something you're not. Isn't that amazing? Lesson 21. Go of control if you want to be free. Imagine you're at the airport and suddenly the screen shows it. Your flight is canceled. You jump up, look around, and everyone starts complaining. Some argue with the staff, others groan out loud, and you feel that wave of anger and helplessness building inside you. In that moment, your mind screams, "This can't be happening, why today?" But no matter how upset you get, that plane isn't taking off. And this, my friend, the Stoics understood nearly 2,000 years ago. They knew you can't bargain with reality to make it obey. All you can do is choose how you respond. It's like driving through heavy rain. You don't choose the weather, but you do choose how you hold the wheel. If you fight the storm, you'll end up off the road. But if you slow down and adapt, you'll reach your destination. Life works the same way. You don't choose what happens, you choose how you respond. Epictetus didn't talk about freedom from a place of comfort. He did it while chained as a slave. They could break his leg, insult him, or deny him the basics, and still he would say, "This does not touch my will." That was his revolution. To own his reaction when everything else was lost. And Marcus Aurelius, sitting in his military tent while a plague ravaged Rome and enemies closed in on every border, wrote that his duty was to keep his soul calm, even if the world was burning. Neither of them waited for the storm to pass in order to find peace. They trained for it in the middle of the chaos. Now bring that to your daily life. Your partner feels distant. What do? You can obsess and try to control them, or you can speak honestly and take care of your own space. You lose a client at work. You can drown in complaints, or you can review what to improve and reach out to 2 new ones. A Stoic never wastes energy on what they can't manage. All their strength goes to what does depend on them. How can you apply this day to day? Very simply. Every morning, choose 3 small things that depend only on you, and do them calmly. That way, you keep moving forward without getting stuck in the hope that everything will fix itself. And if you sense something might go wrong, anticipate it. The Stoics called this the premeditation of evils, not to suffer twice, but to be ready. If the meeting gets delayed, it doesn't surprise you. If it rains, you brought your umbrella. Another very useful practice is to have a short phrase you can repeat when things go sideways. Something that pulls you out of the anxiety and brings you back to center. It can be as simple as, "This is a fact. I choose my next move." It might seem like nothing, but the moment you say it, your mind settles into a different place. And one powerful habit is to write down each night what you let go of. Maybe it was an unmet expectation, a judgment you were holding on to, or a fear that wasn't helping at all. Write it down and notice what you gained. More clarity, more peace, more time. That ritual shows you that letting go isn't losing. When you let go, you always receive something better. Of course, letting go is hard. We've been taught that if we let go, we lose. But in reality, it's the opposite. When you don't let go, your mind fills with what-ifs. Your body tenses up, your sleep gets worse. You're stuck in things you can't control. But when you begin to release, even in small ways, you breathe differently. You compare yourself less. You make decisions more calmly. And you realize that life doesn't fall apart just because you're not controlling it. On the contrary, it starts to flow better. But be careful with the most common misunderstanding. Letting go is not passivity. It's not crossing your arms and waiting for life to happen. It's about stopping the waste of energy on the impossible, so you can invest it in what you can actually move. The Stoics never used detachment as an excuse for inaction. They used it as a weapon to focus all their strength where it truly matters. My friend, what's truly yours doesn't come by squeezing tighter or by demanding that life follow your script. What's truly yours comes when you stop fighting what you can't control and choose to act calmly on what you can touch. That is the freedom the Stoics defended, and that is the freedom you can start practicing today. Now tell me, What's the last thing you let go of that made you feel freer? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to read your story. And if you're not sure what to write, just type, "Today, I let go of what I can't control." That way I'll know you're here training your stoic freedom with us. Lesson 22. Stop making excuses. Be honest with yourself, my friend. How many times have you said one of these phrases? I don't have time. I'm just not talented at that. I don't know where to start. Now tell me, is it really that you can't? Or is it just that you don't want to put in the effort? Excuses are comfortable. They protect you. They make you feel good about yourself because they give you a reason not to do what you know you should be doing. But here's the truth you don't want to hear. They're lies, and worse, they're keeping you from becoming your best self. Think about what we talked about earlier regarding your body. If you don't take care of it, you don't move forward. Well, the same thing happens with your mind. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. And every time you make an excuse, you're making it weaker. Every time you say, I can't, you're training your brain to give up before even trying. Do you know what psychology says about this? Your mind hates feeling conflicted. So when you know you should do something but don't, your brain looks for an excuse to make you feel better. This is called cognitive dissonance. It's not that you're lazy, it's that it's raining so I can't go to the gym. It's not that you don't want to study, it's that it's not the right time. It's not that you're avoiding change, it's that you're just not ready yet. Do you see how dangerous this is? You're not just avoiding effort, you're convincing yourself that you're making the right choice. But some people refuse to play this mental game. Look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. When he arrived in the US, he barely spoke English. He had every excuse in the world to stay in his comfort zone. But instead of justifying himself, he learned the language. Instead of complaining about his accent, he turned it into his personal brand. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," he did it anyway. And because of that, he went from being unknown to becoming a successful bodybuilder, actor, entrepreneur, and politician. Do you think he made it because he was lucky? No, of course not. He made it because he didn't allow himself a single excuse. Marcus Aurelius had it right. Stop debating what a good man should be. Be one. Excuses are the barrier between who you are and who you could be. If you keep feeding them, you'll never move forward. Now tell me, have you ever set a goal to learn a new language? You imagined it all. I'm going to learn French. In 6 months, I'll be fluent. You're motivated. You download an app. You watch a video about the best method. But then days go by and the excuses start showing up. I don't know where to start. I'm just not good at languages. You can't really learn without living in the country. And months later, you still can't even order a coffee in French. So are you ready to stop making excuses and actually become your best self? First, you need to trick your own brain. Instead of saying, I don't feel like it today, try saying, okay, but just a little. Sounds silly? Try it. Are you mindlessly scrolling on your phone? Since I'm here, I'll open the app and do just one lesson. Driving somewhere? I'll listen to just a little bit of this French podcast. The interesting thing? Once you start, the resistance disappears. The hard part isn't doing it, it's starting. Another trick? The mandatory investment method. Every time you make an excuse, pay yourself for it. If you say, I don't have time to study today, put €5 into a savings account. At the end of the month, use that money for something that helps you grow. A course, a book, something that pushes you forward. This way, every excuse costs you something. And little by little, you'll start eliminating them from your life. Every time you say, I can't, do something small to prove that you can. Every time you say, it's not the right time, take action right now. Every time your mind tries to justify itself, silence it with action. So tell me, did you train your mind today? Or did you just fill it with excuses? Because if you truly want to become your best self, you need to start challenging your own excuses. Because if you don't, no one else will do it for you. Lesson 23. Your inner dialogue is your secret weapon. There's a voice inside you that never goes silent. That voice, which often whispers doubts, fears, and criticism, holds immense power. It can be your worst enemy or your greatest ally. And here's the truth you need to learn. The way you talk to yourself defines the direction your life will take. Imagine you have a personal coach with you 24 hours a day. If that coach constantly said, "You can't do it," "You're not good enough," or "You always fail," how do you think you'd feel? That's the reality for many people. A constant internal dialogue full of negative judgments that sabotages them at every step. But here's the good news. You can change that voice. The Stoics understood this well. Seneca wrote, "Man suffers more in imagination than in reality. It's not external circumstances that destroy us, but what we tell ourselves about them." If you learn to train your mind, to speak to yourself with compassion and strength, you'll discover a powerful tool to overcome any obstacle. But what does science say about this? Is it just a feel-good idea? Absolutely not. A study conducted by the University of Michigan found that positive self-talk significantly reduces stress levels. The results were clear. Participants who approached tasks with encouraging self-talk performed better and experienced less anxiety than those who didn't pay attention to their internal dialogue. So, my friend, don't you think it's time to turn that inner voice into your greatest ally? Listen to how you talk to yourself. Identify the negative phrases you use when you fail or face a challenge. Then, replace them with more empowering statements. Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "I'm learning." Instead of, "I always fail," say, "Every attempt gets me closer to success." It may sound simple, but this shift has a profound impact. Your inner dialogue isn't just background noise. It's the script that shapes your life. If you want a different ending, start writing it with words that empower you. Because at the end of the day, the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. Lesson 24. Trust even without guarantees. Imagine it's nighttime and you're walking down a path with a flashlight in your hand. You can't see the whole way, just a few meters ahead. Trees rise up on either side, the silence mixes with the crack of a branch, and your heart is beating harder than usual. You want to see the end of the road. You want the certainty that there's nothing unexpected ahead. But the flashlight doesn't give you that. It only lights up the steps you can take right now. And if you sit there waiting for the whole path to light up at once, you'll never move. The same thing happens with trust. But the Stoics already knew this centuries ago. They didn't wait for security or a perfect ending. They moved forward with what little they had in front of them. They trusted in their ability to face whatever came next. Epictetus said it best. It's not the facts that disturb us, but the interpretation we give them. If your interpretation is that you need absolute guarantees to take a step, then you're condemning yourself to paralysis. And it's strange, isn't it? The more desperately you search for guarantees, the more they disappear. It's like chasing your own shadow. The faster you run after it, the farther away it seems. But when you stop, when you trust the present and let go of the chase, the shadow comes back to you. Trust works the same way. Think about a situation that might sound familiar. You dream of moving to another country. You want a stable job first, fluency in the language, a network of friends, everything figured out. And so you start searching. Courses, forums, videos, advice. You fill notebooks with plans and drafts, but you never take the leap. Why? Because there's no guarantee that everything will go perfectly. That endless hunt for certainty keeps you stuck. What the Stoics would say is simple. Stop chasing a guaranteed future and start trusting in your ability to face what comes. Because the future you dream of doesn't show up when everything is calculated. It shows up when you dare to move with what you do have. Marcus Aurelius lived this firsthand. He ruled in the middle of wars, plagues, and betrayals. He never had the guarantee that things would turn out okay. If he had waited for certainty before acting, he would have been paralyzed. What he did instead was trust in what depended on him and let go of the rest. In his meditations, he left behind a phrase that captures this perfectly. Receive without pride, let go without attachment. That's the heart of Stoic trust. It's not about demanding guarantees, it's about accepting what comes and acting with dignity on what is up to you. So how do you bring this into your life in a real, practical way? Each morning, write this question down on a piece of paper. What step can I take today even if I don't have guarantees about the outcome? I'm not asking you to fix your whole life in one day. Just pick one concrete step. If you're job hunting, maybe that means updating your resume or sending out one application, even if you don't know if anyone will read it. If you're planning a move, maybe it's messaging someone who already lives there and asking about their experience. It won't be a perfect step, but it'll keep you moving. Also, practice a trust journal. Each night, write down one moment when you acted without guarantees, and something good still came out of it. Maybe it was a hard conversation you dared to have, a small decision that gave you clarity, or a time you improvised and it worked better than expected. After a few weeks, you'll start to notice a pattern. Life often supports you the moment you stop demanding absolute certainty. That reminder trains your mind to trust more and cut off obsessive checking at the root. If you catch yourself refreshing your inbox every 5 minutes, checking the same job board over and over, or asking everyone for impossible guarantees, pause. Take a deep breath and repeat. I've done what depends on me. Now I trust. That simple gesture keeps you from wasting energy on a chase that leads nowhere and brings you back to the present. And if you want something even smaller, try the next step technique. Every time anxiety demands to know the full plan, repeat to yourself, I don't need to know how this ends. I just need to take the next step. That phrase can be your flashlight in the dark. What's interesting is that when you start living like this, what you've been chasing begins to come closer. Because trust isn't built by collecting guarantees. It's built by letting them go. The Stoics knew this well. What's truly yours doesn't arrive when you pursue it in desperation. It comes when you act with calm, with no attachment, and without needing impossible assurances. That's when real inner strength shows up. So, my friend, if you're still waiting for the universe to send you a signed contract promising that everything will turn out perfectly, here's a heads up. That message is never coming. Lesson number 25. The present is the only thing you have. How many times have you caught yourself thinking, when I have more money, when the right partner shows up, when I land that job, then I'll be okay? It sounds logical in your head, right? But reality says otherwise. Spoiler, no. The only real when is this moment. Everything else is smoke. The past is already gone, and the future is just an idea that hasn't happened yet. The only thing you truly hold in your hands is what's happening right now. Marcus Aurelius used to remind himself in his meditations, each person's life is the present that is given to them. He wasn't saying this from a place of comfort, but while carrying the constant pressure of ruling an empire surrounded by wars, plagues, and betrayal. If he had waited for calm in order to live, he would never have found peace. What he did instead was train himself, every single day, to come back to the present, even when the world around him was burning. And that same principle, which might sound distant, was lived by a woman I know. For years, she kept telling herself she'd start painting when her kids were older, when she had more money, when life settled down. That when became her favorite excuse. But one day, after an illness forced her to slow down, she came to understand what Epictetus taught. The only thing we truly own is the present moment. If she kept waiting for the perfect time, she'd never begin. So, she bought some cheap brushes and started at her kitchen table. You know what's interesting? The moment she chose to act now, everything else started to flow. Today she exhibits her paintings in small local spaces, not because the future gave her any guarantees, but because she dared to make use of the only thing she truly had. This moment. Now think about yourself. Imagine you've just lost your job. Your mind runs in two directions, to the past. I wish I could go back, or to the future. What if I never find another one? And in both, you get stuck. The Stoic approach is different. The question isn't what could have happened or what will happen, but what can I do today with what I have? Update your resume, message someone, cut an unnecessary expense. It doesn't change the fact itself, but it changes your power over it. And this is where I want to leave you with something practical. Each morning, ask yourself, what depends on me right now? Write it down, even just on your phone, and act on that. If your present feels like a mess, that question works like scissors. It cuts through the noise and leaves you with what truly matters. Another simple practice is what I call the 1-minute reset. Put down your phone, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and feel your body. No planning, no judging, just reconnecting with yourself. That minute brings you out of the past and future, and back to the only place where action is possible. Seneca put it plainly, the greatest loss is not death. It's letting time slip through your fingers. And that's exactly what happens when you spend your days lost in distractions that offer you nothing. My friend, if not today, when? If you don't live now, what are you waiting for? The future doesn't show up all at once. It's built from thousands of nows. And every time you waste one, you're also losing the ones that would have followed. It's like trying to build a house without laying the first brick, or trying to run a marathon without taking the first step. The present is always the starting point. And yes, it's hard. Your mind will constantly try to pull you away. It'll tell you that if you dwell on the past, you'll understand what went wrong, or that if you plan for every future outcome, you'll be safer. But no, all that does is rob you of the only moment where real action is possible. Think again of the Stoics. Epictetus, even as a slave, didn't live waiting for freedom to come. He started practicing it in the one space no one could take from him, his mind. Right there, in his response, was his present, and that present became the ground where he began building his inner freedom. Remember, what's truly yours doesn't arrive tomorrow or yesterday. It arrives when you choose to act with calm in the present, when you release the past that's not coming back and stop obsessing over a future that doesn't yet exist. The now becomes your greatest power. And that's exactly when the unexpected happens. When you stop chasing, life begins to bring you what you've been waiting for. Don't forget, the present is not just a formality. It's the only real space where life actually happens. Lesson 26. Use your mind as your greatest weapon. Once upon a time, there was a warrior who owned the sharpest sword in the kingdom. It was said that he could cut through anything with a single strike. But over time, the warrior stopped practicing. Confident that his blade would stay sharp, he left it in its sheath. Months passed, years passed. One day, he was challenged to a duel. Certain of his skills, he drew his sword and attacked. But the blade was rusted, dull, useless. His greatest weapon, the one that had once made him invincible, had become dead weight. Now think about this. How many times do we do the same with our own minds? Your mind is like a sword. If you sharpen and use it daily, it becomes your greatest ally. But if you neglect it, it weakens, rusts, and becomes slow. Benjamin Franklin understood this better than anyone. And believe it or not, he wasn't born a genius. He became one of the greatest minds in history because he trained his mind every single day. He had a plan, read, write, analyze, debate with himself, not because it was easy, but because he knew that without effort, he would never achieve anything great. Sometimes I wonder if he read Epictetus when he said, "Only an educated man is free." The Stoics knew this well. Knowledge isn't just about learning more facts, it's the key to independence. Whoever controls their mind, controls their life. But those who leave it at the mercy of distractions, laziness, and mindless noise become prisoners of their own limitations. Maybe you haven't noticed, but every time you let your mind run on autopilot, every time you spend hours consuming pointless content, every time you avoid a challenge because it's too hard, you're weakening it. Over time, words start slipping away, you struggle to remember names, you become slower at solving problems, and one day, you realize your mind isn't what it used to be. Mel Robbins, one of the most direct speakers on mental discipline, says the problem isn't that you don't know what to do. It's that your brain is wired to protect you from effort. Every time you try to start something difficult, your mind immediately comes up with an excuse. Yes, those same excuses we talked about earlier, but luckily, you already know how to control them. So if you want to turn your mind into your most powerful weapon, you need to train it. First, use the 5-second rule. The next time you hesitate to do something important, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't give your brain time to sabotage you. Just act. Second, train your mind with small, consistent challenges. Every day, do something that pushes your mental limits. It can be as simple as reading an article on a new topic, solving a puzzle, or memorizing a phrase in another language. Whatever it is, just do it. Lastly, strengthen your critical thinking. Don't settle for the first piece of information you hear. Question it. When you read or listen to something, ask yourself, does this make sense? How can I apply this to my life? Are there other perspectives? The more you train your mind to analyze, compare, and reflect, the sharper it becomes. Knowledge isn't about collecting facts, it's about knowing how to use them. So tell me, my friend, are you sharpening your sword, or are you letting it rust? Remember, just like your body, your mind is the one thing that will always be with you. It's the most powerful tool you'll ever have to achieve everything you want. Use it well. Lesson 27. Act as if it were already real. How many times have you told yourself, when I have more time, I'll start? When I feel confident, I'll speak up. When motivation shows up, I'll do it. And there you are, chasing it like crazy. You open your calendar 100 times, make endless to-do lists, watch motivational videos, and still, nothing. Because that motivation, it never arrives. The more you chase it in desperation, the more it hides. It's like running after a train that's already left the station. The harder you run, the more exhausted you get, and the further away it seems. That's the trap, my friend. But don't worry. The Stoics, as always, have the antidote. As Seneca said, it's not that we have little time, but that we waste a lot of it. That eternal waiting, it's the most expensive excuse we invent. And Musonius Rufus, Epictetus's teacher, said it with such clarity it still hits like a slap. He explained that no one becomes a carpenter by listening to lectures on wood. Either you pick up the hammer and mess up a few times, or you build nothing. Life works the same way. If you keep waiting to feel ready, all you'll gain is more waiting. Listen to this. Maybe it sounds familiar. You want to go to the gym and you spend days searching for the perfect motivation. You watch workout videos, read blogs, follow fitness influencers, and end up too drained to move. Of course, when you chase it with so much pressure, the motivation never comes. The only thing that works is the opposite. Put on your shoes without overthinking it and start, even if it's halfway, even if it's clumsy. Same goes for your personal projects. You dream of writing a book, starting a channel, changing jobs. You spend weeks waiting for the right moment. When I have time, when life calms down, when I'm truly ready. And the result? Nothing. That when is the enemy, because you're chasing it with anxiety. The truth is this: the perfect moment doesn't appear. It's built the moment you start, even if it's something as small as writing one paragraph or sending one email. So what can you do? Each morning, write one short sentence about who you want to be today. Something like, "Today I am someone brave," or "Today I am someone disciplined." It's not cheap poetry. It's a compass. That phrase reminds you which direction to walk, even when you don't feel like it. And you know what else works? Trick your brain with the 5-second rule. Imagine you're about to start something, and your mind starts the usual excuses. I don't feel like it. Now's not the time. That's your cue. Count down from 5 to 1, and go. Do it even if it's just for 2 minutes. 2 minutes is enough to break the inertia. There's one more thing you can try. The Stoic micro-action. Do one small thing today that reflects your future self, even if you have zero motivation. It could be organizing a drawer, writing a page, sending that message you've been avoiding for weeks. It's tiny, but it opens the door to something bigger. What's amazing is that when you act this way, what you're chasing stops feeling so far away. That version of yourself you long to become starts coming to life with each action you take. And without realizing it, the impossible begins to move closer. Because what's meant for you doesn't come when you obsess over being perfect. It comes when you live as if you already were. So, my friend, stop waiting for the ideal moment. Start and make it ideal with your actions. That's the paradox of this path. The more you search for motivation, the more it hides. But when you act with calm, even with doubts, things begin to fall into place. What's yours shows up without the chase because you're already living like it's real. You already know it. As long as you keep waiting for the perfect moment, it will never come. So now I want to hear from you. What's that one thing you've been postponing because you're waiting for the perfect conditions? Share it in the comments and make today the day you break the cycle. And if you'd rather not go into details, just write, "Today I stop waiting. Today I begin." That'll be your sign that you've stopped chasing and started living. And if hearing all this made you realize you've been chasing what's out of your control for way too long, running after things that never come, then you need to watch the other video on screen. It'll remind you what really matters, and it might be just the push you need to let go and stop wasting your life. Lesson 28. Learn to be alone without feeling lonely. You're at home. Total silence. You check your phone. Nothing. You step outside, see groups of friends laughing, couples holding hands, people caught up in their own worlds. And there you are, feeling lonelier than an umbrella in the desert. But wait, why does being alone have to be a bad thing? The philosopher Schopenhauer once said that people fear solitude because they can't stand their own company. And it's true. Many avoid being alone because facing themselves can be terrifying. But listen, learning to be alone without feeling lonely is a powerful skill. It's in those moments of solitude that you can truly discover who you are and work on becoming your best self. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. Nowhere can man find a quieter retreat than in his own soul. Think about it. He was an emperor, surrounded by advisors, armies, an entire empire at his disposal. And yet, he knew that real peace didn't depend on anything external. It was something internal, something built from within. Now tell me, do you find yourself needing music, social media, or any kind of distraction just to avoid silence? You're not alone. Our brains are wired to avoid discomfort. We seek company, noise, and constant stimulation because being alone with our thoughts can be uncomfortable. But here's the twist. That discomfort is the key to growth. So how do you go from feeling lonely to actually enjoying your own company? Here are 3 ways to do it. First, take yourself on a date. Sounds weird? It's not. Plan an outing like you would for a best friend or a partner. Go to your favorite restaurant and actually enjoy each bite. No scrolling on your phone. No hiding behind distractions. Just be in the moment. Second, do something alone that you'd normally do with company. Does going to the movies alone sound awkward? Having coffee at a cafe without someone sitting across from you? Do it. You'll realize that no one is paying as much attention to you as you think. And in fact, it's liberating to do what you enjoy without depending on anyone else. Third, use solitude to understand yourself better. Write. Not on social media, not on WhatsApp. Write for yourself. Jot down how you feel, what you think, what you want to improve. You'll see that when you learn to listen to yourself, you stop needing so much external noise. Remember this, solitude is not a punishment, it's an opportunity. If you learn to enjoy it, you become stronger, more independent, and most importantly, you become the best company for yourself. My friend, you've made it this far. You've absorbed every lesson, strengthened your mind, your discipline, your confidence. But there's one more thing. Something without which everything else falls apart. Because becoming your best self isn't just about what you do. It's also about how you face it. Listen closely, because this is the piece that ties everything together. The final touch to truly becoming your best self. Lesson 29. Change is inevitable. What do you do when life takes an unexpected turn? Maybe it's a change you didn't ask for, something that completely throws you off balance. In those moments, do you cling to what was, or do you embrace what's coming? Here's the truth you need to accept. Change is inevitable, and the more you resist it, the harder it will be to move forward. A study conducted by Stanford University exposed participants to simulated scenarios of change, such as losing a job or moving to a new city. The researchers analyzed how different people dealt with these situations. The results? Some saw these changes as threats or disasters, while others viewed them as opportunities for a better life. And guess who handled it better? Of course, those who saw change as a chance to grow. Not only did they adapt more easily, but they also experienced less anxiety and reported greater emotional well-being and satisfaction with their decisions. Change, my friend, is like a river. It's always moving, never staying the same. If you try to stop it, you'll end up exhausted and frustrated. But if you choose to flow with it, you can discover new currents, unexpected landscapes, even places you never imagined. Do you remember Bruce Lee? He summed it up brilliantly. "Be like water," he said. "Adapt to the shape of your container. Empty your mind, be formless. If you put water in a cup, it becomes the cup. If you put it in a bottle, it becomes the bottle." Inspiring, isn't it? It's a reminder that embracing change doesn't mean giving up. It means learning to adapt and transform with your circumstances. Now, tell me, how many times have you resisted change out of fear? Maybe you turned down an opportunity because it meant stepping out of your comfort zone. Or maybe you held on to a relationship, a job, or a place that no longer made you happy, simply because it felt familiar. And what did that resistance give you? Spoiler, nothing but frustration and the weight of what could have been. The Stoics understood that change isn't something we can control, but it is something we can accept. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Whatever happens, happens as it should, and if you observe carefully, you will find this to be so." This perspective doesn't just encourage us to accept change, it invites us to look for its purpose, to uncover the lessons that allow us to grow. Remember, change isn't the enemy. It's the process that allows us to evolve. Every transformation, no matter how uncomfortable, is a new page in the book of your life. Consider the word crisis. You might think it's a negative term, but do you know its origin? It comes from chrysalis, and a chrysalis is metamorphosis. It's transformation, it's growth. Think about it. If you look back on your life, it's not the things that stayed the same that define you. It's the changes you embraced and how you let them shape you. So, are you ready to flow like water? Because change, inevitable as it is, can be the greatest gift of your life if you choose to accept it. Lesson 30. The 4 enemies that steal your calm. There are 4 saboteurs that sneak into your mind and rob you of peace: fear, impatience, rigidity, and pride. Picture Marcus Aurelius in his military tent, a dim oil lamp lighting the maps of the empire. Outside, the wind shakes the fabric, and the news arriving is grim. Plague is spreading in Rome, enemies are advancing at the borders, and political intrigue fills the Senate. In the midst of that chaos, any of us would have lost control. The fear of making mistakes, the impatience to fix it all quickly, the rigidity of wanting things to go according to plan, and the pride of thinking he could handle it all alone. 4 invisible enemies that could destroy him more than any army. What's remarkable is that he admitted those emotions were there. He wasn't a cold, emotionless superhuman. He was aware his mind could sabotage him. But he learned not to get stuck in those emotions. That's the Stoic practice, knowing the inner monsters exist and still not letting them take the wheel. Epictetus repeated it often. What disturbs you is not the event itself, but the interpretation you give it. And those interpretations often wear the mask of fear, urgency, inflexibility, and ego. Think about it in your own life. You lose a client and suddenly fear shows up. I'm going to go broke. Then comes impatience. I need to replace them right now. Add to that rigidity. This shouldn't be happening. And topping it off, pride. I'm not asking anyone for help. What's the result? You're exhausted before you've even taken action. What was a single problem now multiplies in your mind and steals your calm. A Stoic would handle it differently. They'd say, "I've lost a client. That's a fact." And they'd stop right there. Everything else is added by the mind, draining your energy without changing anything. Then they'd ask, "What's up to me now?" Maybe it's improving the pitch, reaching out to 2 new contacts, planning the next few months. Clear actions, no drama, no unnecessary judgment. That's how you move from noise to serenity. Let's make it more visual. Fear is like driving with the handbrake on. You want to move forward, but all you're doing is burning fuel and wearing out the engine. Impatience is planting a tree and demanding fruit the next day. No matter how loud you yell, the fruit won't come. Rigidity is like building a sandcastle and getting angry when the wave hits. And pride is carrying a backpack full of rocks just to avoid admitting it's heavy. All 4 together turn your life into a constant battle. So what can you do to start dismantling them? Next time fear paralyzes you, don't wait to feel strong. Take a small step. Make a call, send an email, check off a task you've been avoiding. That single gesture tells your mind you're not stuck. Against impatience, remember that every process takes time. Ask yourself, what can I water today? Just like a gardener can't force the plant to grow, you can't speed up life. When you feel rigidity creeping in, use the Stoic's favorite phrase, "This is happening." Don't say, "This shouldn't be happening," because it already is. Swap resistance for adaptation. And against pride, try what feels hardest. Ask for help. Saying, "I don't know" or "I need support" doesn't take away your worth. It multiplies it. Pride makes you carry the load alone. Humility shares the weight and gives you real strength. My friend, think how different your day would be if you recognized these 4 enemies as soon as they showed up. Imagine that instead of letting fear freeze you, you name it and take a step. That when impatience burns, you remember things take time and breathe. That when rigidity hurts, you adapt. And when pride silences you, you dare to ask for support. Suddenly, the burden doesn't weigh as much. The Stoics weren't trying to eliminate these emotions as if they were bad. They knew they would always show up. What they wanted was not to live enslaved by them. Marcus Aurelius wrote that peace doesn't come from the world obeying your plan. It comes from keeping your soul steady no matter the storm. And that's the lesson we can still practice today. Because what truly belongs to you doesn't come when you let fear, impatience, or pride drag you around. What's yours moves closer when you learn to release those inner saboteurs and act calmly on what is up to you. That's how you recover your clarity. And no, these 4 enemies won't disappear. They'll always be there, whispering in your mind. But the difference lies in whether you hand them the keys to your life, or whether you recognize them and choose to act with serenity instead. And when you choose that second path, something shifts. What once felt out of reach starts to come closer. Not because you chased it in desperation, but because now you're ready to receive it. Letting go of the rush, stopping the desperate chase, and learning to trust the present moment. That's what truly changes everything. It's not about stacking up achievements or running after what's missing. It's about living with calm, acting with intention, and making room for what's meant for you to arrive on its own. Because when you stop searching like a madman, life begins to align in your favor. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "When I stop searching, everything arrives." They say those who stay until the end always find their reward, and you just did. So I invite you to subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who might need it. Click now on the videos you see on screen, because the journey is just beginning.